Aloha, y'all. It is March the 19th on Saturn's Day, Saturday, hence the name. The day, which I'll get into in a second, is a third eye Ajna chakra day. But I'll talk about the astrology really quickly. Sun is at 28 degrees 51 minutes Pisces. The moon is at 13 degrees 57 minutes Libra. Just about to pop out of Libra. Mercury is in 15 degrees 38 minutes Pisces. Venus is at 12 degrees Aquarius. Mars is at 9 degrees 54 minutes Aquarius. Jupiter is at 18 degrees Pisces. Saturn's at 20 degrees Aquarius. Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus. Neptune's at 23 degrees Pisces. Pluto's at 28 degrees Capricorn. And the North Node is at 23 degrees and some odd minutes Taurus. Hopefully you all are doing well this morning. I just realized something last night. I'm going to have to tell my fiance. It's not bad news, particularly, but in order to come to Costa Rica, they're like, you have to have an exit ticket and health insurance. Well, the health insurance is whatever. At first I paid $700, and then I found something for like $130 for 90 days, which is a dramatic improvement. As far as the exit ticket, though, I had bought a ticket to Honolulu from San Jose for $100, and I was like, holy shit, that's so cheap. I'm gonna one-way ticket to Honolulu. I'm in. And I had double-checked this. I was pretty sure San Jose, California, to Honolulu is what I purchased. So now I've got to kind of rearrange that ticket and then also figure out some other stuff. But I might be playing a gig down here, a festival gig with my brother on my birthday, in which case I'll have to come back. So some shuffling about for me, myself. Anyway, third eye chakra day, matching my shirt, purple it is. Ajna is between the eyebrows. It's really inside your brain, but like the metaphorical image is on your brow. Keywords are intuition, mysticism, and understanding. Positive aspects are highly intuitive, faithful, clear-sighted, integrous, orderly mind. Negative aspects, the inability to trust your intuition, scattered mind, inconsiderate, and a blinkered vision. Potentially what I had when I made the purchase of the ticket. I was doing that like at 6 in the morning right before a flight, so, but I had sworn I had double checked, and I guess I haven't. Anyway, the mantra is Om, like when people meditate, Om, and you do this in the key of A. Mantra is Om. Sensory experience is intuition. The spiritual activities are reflection, contemplation, meditation, creative use of your imagination. Essential oils are camphor, sweet pea, and heliotrope. Plant is almond blossom. The metal is silver. The element is the cosmos. And crystals are sapphire, lapis lazuli, and tanzanite, with the sole lesson being detachment and intuition. So when you're kind of Zen mode and you kind of see things like Neo and you're like, no, I don't want the bolts to hit me, and they kind of drop, that's third eye activation stuff. So let's go ahead and pull a card, well, a couple cards, right, for the day. I'm actually not sweating it. I think my plans, it's all good, as they say. My plans might shift around a little, but it's all good. We've got, oh, look at that, third eye popping on this dude. We've got the King of Cups. Listen to these dogs. Being dogs. There's 5 dogs here that I'm dog sitting at the moment, but that live here in Costa Rica on property, and they are talkative. So cups are emotions, creativity, the fluid kind of feels, right? And King is the highest masculine form of this energy. So if you're a Cancer, a Scorpio, or Pisces, this is naturally going to be your suit, the cups. And the King of Cups is as follows. The earthy part, right, the practical, grounded, structured, dependable, I guess you could say, part of water, the intuition, the emotions, the creativity. Compassionate and kind nature, dramatic and living grandiose, receiving artistic success and believing in self and in others. King of Cups, I bring peace and harmony. The King of Cups travels through his kingdom, appreciating a watery realm in which brings such life and sustenance. Water's transformative properties are utterly unique. Its ability to freeze, melt, evaporate, heat, sublimate, and combine with so many elements make it the ultimate shapeshifter. The king is the master of his element. He can control and discipline his emotional viscosity, a man totally at ease with life. He is portrayed here as an old Rastafarian shaman smoking his pipe, always in good spirits, very Bob Marley. He has great command of the animistic realm, believing in the supernatural power which organizes and animates the material universe. Hovering over the ocean on his car-craft throne, a unique creation itself, the decrepit, burnt-out car has been upcycled into something extraordinary, reflecting his capacity to redefine and reconstitute discarded or dangerous elements into something of value. Very North Node in Taurus. Over time, he has developed immense emotional intelligence and can access and bridge the conscious and subconscious realms. Mercury in Pisces, being able to kind of see with that third eye, unblinkered. He is fully aware of his connection to the divine source, Neptune in Pisces, Sun in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces. He is fully aware of his connection to the divine source. Listening calmly to his guidance, he brings great, timeless perspective to unfolding events. He is a diplomat, a wise counselor to his people, enabling his kingdom to live in peace and harmony. This same gentle, compassionate, and tolerant nature is directed towards his family, and his presence as a father is abundantly amiable, creative, and attentive without being unboundaried. So with the earthy part of water, he has form, even though he's fluid. It's not just all like, dramatic freakouts and boundaryless victimhood. Like the gift that keeps on giving, which is what water is, right? It's the thing that keeps us sustained. Anybody and anything can take on value, very North Node in Taurus. This is symbolized by the beam of light emanating from his power center, which turns the liquid in the cup to gold. Wise and experienced, chilled, laid back, humorous, free-spirited, and creative, he is jovial, Neptune-like figure who has made his home in the worlds of land and sea. And Poseidon, his archetype, is very much, obviously King Trident style in the ocean, but on horses on land. So it's land and sea that this kind of energy can be happening upon. As an arts connoisseur, he appreciates the power of the arts in all their forms to convey individual and collective life stories. Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius, right? Very creative, but the royal we energy for the people. Both as a cause for celebration and as a cathartic release and purification. He will venture into unfriendly, dark, and unpleasant places, South Node in Scorpio, to infuse them with good humor, embodying the ideal of polishing one's mind and body to foster a spirit of harmony. An Aikido master indeed. The King of Cups suggests a calm, creative, and wise influence is at hand. There's great inner strength to be accessed, which brings with it a natural ease, grace, and joy. The unseen is seen, accepted, and beautifully expressed. Fear is dissolved in the elixir of harmony. So, the King of Cups, that earthy part of water, compassionate and kind nature, dramatic and living, grandiose, receiving artistic success, and believing in the self and others. So, with the third eye day, see his third eye? He's got this vision. He sees beyond. He sees beyond the duality. It's not just spiritual or material. He sees the both and, not either or. And he's doing it in such a way that it's practical, right? North Node in Taurus for all of us right now. Saturn in Aquarius. It's organized. It's on top of things. But at the same time, it's fluid. Jupiter in Pisces. It's intuitive. Mercury in Pisces. It's emotionally aware. Sun in Pisces. And he is the king of the ocean. Neptune in Pisces. So let's go ahead and get a clarification card. Hopefully you all are doing well wherever you're watching from. We got the 10 of Wands. So this is a kind of heavy duty card. I mean, all cards have a little resonance to them. That's the whole point. It's like, it's hard to explain, but it's like, well, I mean, with the hexagrams, there's 64 of them, and they each kind of point out to a different algorithm. That's essentially what the cards are doing, right? So with this card, with the card of the day, we've got this watery, intuitive, kind of dominant and structured energy. And then on the clarifier card, we got the 10 of Wands. In this case, it's a dragon, but this is about having too many things going on at once, burning a lot of inspiration, a lot of energy, a lot of zeal. The fire, if you're an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, is your energy. 10s are the completion, right? The end of a journey, 10. 1 being the start of a journey. And this is, just briefly, I carry the burdens of life, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm burning the candle at both ends. I've got a lot going on. Lightening your load and admiring the beauty that surrounds you, right? Maybe smoke that magic herb and be a Rastafarian and just go, yeah man, chillin', we be jammin'. It's red wine. I'm not even suggesting drinking. I don't do that, and I don't smoke right now, maybe ever again. But it is a day, maybe on a Saturn's day, where observing the rules of the reality, Saturn in Aquarius, can be done from a place of joy, fluidity, and altered meditative slash, chemically altered states. And you lighten your load by admiring that beauty that surrounds you. If you eat some mushrooms, or if you smoke a J or whatever, you're going to notice the beauty that's always inherent from a very fundamentally different algorithmic place, very different frequency. Determination to see the situation through to the end, right? Like it's the little engine that could. It's like, I think I can. Making one more good push. So I think what we need to be aware of, where do I put these things? My hands are everywhere. With the Ajna chakra being the chakra of the day, right? We have the ability to see beyond problems that maybe we've created ourselves through just zeal, where it's like, oh my gosh, I have all these creative ideas and I don't know which one to start. I've got 10 songs at once. My brother, who's honestly one of the best, drummers ever, but beyond that, he's got like 200 or 300 songs possibly of just some of the best songwriting stuff ever, of everything from like Daft Punk music to Fleet Foxy ukulele stuff, doing Hawaiian mythologies, great stuff. But he's very 10 of Wands. He and I both have Gemini suns with Gemini and Chiron, so scatterbrainedness and kind of absent-mindedness is a problem. But he's so creative. He has a Pisces moon, right? But he has a million songs that are unfinished, and no one really knows about this stuff, and that's the energy, right? He's taken on so much, and now he's trying to get a degree and be an academic. And it's like, bro, Paul McCartney could be a veterinarian, but like he's Paul McCartney too. So focus on what you need to do creatively. Your soul will thank you if you stick to your guns, push through, but also don't try to 10-40 fires at once. Like keep one fire burning, 2 fires burning. You don't need 40 fires. So I think maybe the caution of the day is you can be very inspired, very creative, and maybe you have so many pies in the oven that you're not even cooking any of them properly. So it's about focusing on 1 or 2 things instead of all the things. And with Neptune and Pisces, we just want to get our fingers wet in all the pies. We want to taste everything. We want to see everything, right? But sometimes third eye, you need, it's like, oh my gosh, the material world, oh my gosh, the spiritual world. It's like, you know what? Just focus on where you are. Be here now. Maybe that's the past, the present, the future. It's like, what do I do? It's like, you'll know everything that needs to happen. You'll reconcile the past. You'll make good moves in the future if you stay in the present. And that can be the problem. It's not a bad thing. It could be one of the issues of a King of Wands, where it's like, thankfully he's grounded. It's not the watery part of water, that's the Queen. And there's nothing wrong with that. But with Saturn's day, we need to be, it's a Saturday here where I am in Costa Rica. If you're in Australia, it's Sunday. But we need to be structuring our creativity and our imagination and not taking on too many burdens. All right, so let's go ahead and get a clarification. No, I just did that. Ha! See how scattered I am. Let's get an animal oracle card. Divine Animal Oracles. Stacey DeMarco. She's been on the podcast, as has the Starman Tarot, the first card I pulled. If you didn't know, I've got a podcast, TEAMrabbithole podcast. Got 271 episodes. Famous people, normal people, every kind of person's been on there, so check it out. We've got the Hare. Speaking of TEAMrabbithole, the Hare. Cycles, right? And in order to see cycles, you have to really have a third eye vision opened. Otherwise, you'll be, you'll just be stuck in the drudgery, being like, oh my gosh, is this workday ever going to end? Oh my gosh, I'm raising these kids and they're freaking out, and I'm never going to, stop wet nursing these kids. Oh my gosh, these dogs are barking constantly. It's like, I know they're barking because of that dog over there that's walking by. It's kind of like Gangs of New York or whatever, and they're being territorial. But we can know that sometimes you're very wet with creativity, right? It's part of the cycle. And sometimes, let me shut this window. I don't know how much that really helps, but sometimes we're just dripping and oozing with creativity, and sometimes we don't even know where to begin because we have so many ideas and we don't know which to pull the trigger on. And just like the book of Ecclesiastes talks about, which I think it's the Yardbirds. I'm not sure if it's the birds or the Yardbirds now that I think about it. Probably the birds. But they're like, to everything, there's a season, turn, cycles. There's a time to be rich, there's a time to be poor. There's a time to be free, there's a time to go to jail. I'm looking for the, I put it away. The deck book. The stories are great. That's half the reason I read these. And it's been pointed out, they're like, oh my gosh, you read all these things. It's like, I love this shit, so I'll read it. Hopefully you enjoy it too. I find it highly illuminating, and I can wax poetic on anything, really, but at the same time, these are good little lily pads to jump from. And they inspire me. Hopefully they are inspiring your imagination, King of Cups, as well, in a grounded way, North Node and Taurus. So let's go ahead and get into it. The hare is about cycles, following the cycles of nature, or says follow the cycles of nature, and you will be rarely disappointed. Right? It's just about to turn into the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, fall equinox in the southern hemisphere. That's March 21st. We're about a week away. So what are we doing? The sun and everything goes in sine waves, basically. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm on top. Yuga. Oh my gosh, we're in a Kali Yuga. Yeah, golden age. Oh my gosh, dark ages. Spring, summer, fall, because it's falling. The sun is falling into winter, spring, summer, fall. See the cycle. So follow the cycles of nature and you will be rarely disappointed as energy travels in cycles. Seek balance. The moon in the last degrees of Libra is telling us, it's not the last degrees of Libra, it's at 1357. It's halfway through, but it's about to turn to 14 degrees. And yeah, it's about balance. It's about seeking that balance. There is a time and a season for everything, like that song, ecclesiastical based song I was talking about. Plants cannot blossom all the time, so be patient, right? Don't try to think that everything is going to be a success all the time and then burn out when it's not. Tend to one or two things, and then your third eye will pop open and you'll go, this is where I am now, and this is where I can see things, how they've got me here, and this is where they're going, as opposed to trying to juggle every fucking on fire juggling bowling pin or whatever at once. So the mythos is as follows. Eostre, E-O-S-T-R-E, Eostre, I think, the goddess of spring, which is synchronistic as we're at the spring equinox, and her hair were walking at dawn on a crisp morning at the beginning of the season. Not the beautiful, I misread that. At the beginning of the season. The morning was very beautiful. I knew I saw the word. The morning was very beautiful, yet still cold, as the winter snows had begun to melt. As they walked, they came upon a small bird dying in the freezing but melting snow. Distressed at its condition, very King of Cups, right? It's very empathetic. Eostre picked up the tiny soul and tried to revive and warm it, but its life was too far gone to save. Pluto and Capricorn, death had come to its world. Feeling love and pity for the creature, very Mercury in Pisces, Moon in Libra, Jupiter in Pisces, Eostre transformed the bird back into an egg, giving it a chance to be born again. That's some Saturn and Aquarius shit. It's like, I will re-engineer this. I will throw it around. She placed Haley, what's up? She placed the egg upon the earth and hatched it. Out came another hare, a mate for her companion. Speaking of which, there's my companion. And three of them continued their journey, right? The cycle doesn't end. It just multiplies, right? The universe just expands. It eventually maybe contracts. We don't know, but things don't just stop. That's why we've got to be careful about what we're juggling and be creative about it, because can't stop, won't stop. The hare has been part of the mythos of every culture in whose countries they have made their home. Hares are very commonly linked with the lunar cycle, and we just had a full moon in Virgo. If you didn't know, it's in Libra now, but last 2 nights ago it was in full moon. If you look up, you'll see the shape of a hare on the moon. And in stories of fertility and love, the constellation Lepus is a hare. The animal. Hares and jackrabbits are part of a genus called Lepus, of the genus Lepus. They are found in Africa, Eurasia, Japan, and North America. Hares, in particular, the European hare, are incredibly athletic animals and are able to move very quickly. They have been timed at over 65 kilometers, with leaps up to 1 meter at a time. Their speed is part of their defense against predators, and as a Gemini, mercurial quick-wittedness or whatever is how I try to deal with things, though, as you can see, Gemini and Chiron, I stumble over my words and misspeak sometimes, etc. Hares are well known for their pre-mating and mating behaviors, which is why they are often seen as symbols of fertility and fecundity. In spring, hares can be seen wrestling and punching each other, rising up on their hind legs and acting aggressively. Mars conjunct Venus in Aquarius. It's like, we're going to fight in love. This radical behavior has been demonstrated not just in males, but also in breeding females. The saying, mad as a March hare, and we're in March because the equinox, spring equinox in the Northern Hemisphere, relates to this somewhat frenzied time, spring in the Northern Hemisphere, in parentheses, because she's an Australian, so of course she's got to denote this. The European hare has a very long breeding cycle of 8 months from January to August, with continual cycles of reproduction until the hiatus in breeding. The male's genitals reduce in size and no mating occurs from September to December. By the peak reproductive period, March, some females may be pregnant with up to 3 fetuses. Contrary to popular belief, hares generally do not give birth to or raise their young in burrows, instead creating a nest of grasses called a form. The young are born with eyes open, so they are as ready as they can be to hide from predators. It's not what Creed would be with arms wide open, with eyes wide open, with third eyes wide open, right? Each of their eyes, therefore their third eye is open, to see the predators around them, to really understand what they're doing in the world. Because they're popping out into a frenzied world already with predators going after them. They have to keep their eyes open on the prize and know how to be, beings of life in a crazy mad world of tooth and claw. The magic. Gosh, dang these dogs. That didn't matter. I thought maybe that would shut them up. The magic. Hair magic has always been linked to the lunar cycle and the fertility cycle of women. For those who wish to achieve a pregnancy, call in hair magic to help you conceive or balance your cycle. For those who are not interested in reproduction, hair magic can be used to quicken up the pace of an outcome or to increase your connection with other cycles. Symbology: hair on the moon, dancing hairs, running hairs, statuses of least concern. There's quite a few of them, right? But what we need to be doing is becoming aware in a very involved way, very Pisces sun way, Jupiter and Pisces, very flowy way, of all the possibilities, all the scenarios in the present moment, not to get bogged down with the future, not to be hung up on the past, but to see them clearly with a third eyes wide open, ultimately knowing that, this too shall pass and it will return again. This too, it's like the song remains the same. And how does it work? In a fractal. It just goes in loops. And that's kind of the nature of the perennial game we find ourselves in. We actually had a really good discussion on this kind of stuff with Colin Smith the other night on the podcast. Check that out. Episode 270, I believe. 271, possibly. Yeah, 271. Because last one was 272, because it's a palindrome. I remember that now. We've got a scarecrow. If only I could shut the dogs up with scarecrowing them. This is number 15. This is a I Ching, right? The book of changes, the cycles, changes in the I Ching, the Chinese tradition. Number 15, the hexagram is as follows. Modesty. Very moon in Libra. It's like, I am beautiful, but I am balanced, and I'm not going to be too loud about it. It's not like a Leo moon. Modesty. All things strive for balance and moderation. The cycle is a form of balance over time. No sooner does the sun reach its zenith than it inevitably sets out upon its path towards a sunset. Right? That's the whole Horus rising and then falling into set in the underworld, and so it goes. The Egyptians saw the cycle, right? The Egyptians saw it because the world is a chaos creature. It's this crazy situation in which we have to really have a creative tale to tell ourselves and others to understand it. Mythology is not false. It's another way of understanding reality. Just like you could get materially reductionistic, very Saturn and Aquarius, and be like, the upspin of a particle does this and stuff. That's talking about the movie set. So it's like the chair is placed on the northwest corner of the movie set, and its color is pink or whatever. But to understand the story, it's like the person is actually running from their room to go read a story to their kids in the chair in front of a fireplace. That's going to set a mood, and the mood is something that's more emotional, right? Anyway, once the moon, there's the moon being talked about again. Once the moon has become full, it begins to wane, right? The dance of the moon, the cycles of the moon. This law applies to human life as well. It's called natural law. But we mortals possess free will and can determine for ourselves whether we promote creative or destructive forces, right? Are we trying to ride the wave, balanced on the biggest wave, as Pink Floyd would say? Or are we, oh my gosh, we've bitten off more than we can chew, destruction, like getting burned by cooking the food and then eating it so quickly we burn ourselves. I've done that a few times. It's stupid. Hopefully I break that cycle and I see clearly that burned mouth bird mouth equals bad and not fun. You'd think at 36 I would understand that, but as a recovering bachelor, I'm getting over that idiocy. So, wiser people seek the balance instead. Moon and Libra, North Node and Taurus. We ground it, we balance it out. They take from excess and add to the deficient, right? So, that's how you upcycle things, like the King of Cups was doing. Right? He's like, oh my gosh, I've got this car, there's a junkyard of cars, no one's doing anything with them, I'll make it a throne. But also simultaneously, we have to be creative and take the excess. So that was like, the excess in a good way and upcycling and making it good. But sometimes we've tended too many fires. We need to I need to back down. I've got way too many things going on in this cycle. And I needed to kind of just take a chill pill, not pump the brakes, kid. So they take from excess and add to the deficient. They show understanding instead of displaying their power over lesser beings. Very King of Cups. Instead of just being like, look what I can do and I'm going to dominate you. It's like, I will love you through this. Try to create balanced relationships within yourself and your surroundings, right? We saw the balance of the third eye, like the two eyes are in balance, creating the open portal for the third. The two circles, creating a Vesica Pisces. Try to create balanced relationships within yourself and your surroundings, as within, so without. If you succeed in finding an inner balance and allowing it to manifest externally, then you will feel in harmony with the totality of life and its all-encompassing power, right? You'll feel like the King of Cups. You will have your world balanced and fertile. Moon in Libra, North Node in Taurus. And you will understand that not only are you the witness, it's very Zen-like. Not only are you the witness, but you're the doer. Alan Watts has a really good thing about do-be-do. It's like, like music. Do-be-do-be-do, do-be-do-be-do, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. You're both the doer and the witness. So it's kind of a trippy thing we're a part of here, but it is what it is. What we got is Larimer. Let me read this card to you. You can quantumly entangle with this last crystal card. You don't have to own it, but this is very apropos given the 10 of Wands is the clarifier, and it's asking us to kind of chill, slower roll. It says, Larimer, what it is. Sea foam toned Larimer is a volcanic blue mineral only found in the Dominican Republic, which is not too far from me. That way, behind me, is the Caribbean side. That way is the Pacific side. Its energy is like a spiritual snow cone for the seething and sweltering. So that's the King of Cups on top of the 10 of Wands right there. It's like how to find the balance between intuitive emotionality and zealous passion. Who needs it? The hot-tempered, any Aries. Where to put it and we're just about to enter Aries season, so let's start off chill. Where to put it when super agitated, like these dogs. Stop, drop, hold Larimer in your left hand and commence cooling breathing, i.e. stick out your rolled tongue, like that, and slowly inhale and exhale like you're sucking through a straw. You can do it with pursed lips too. I've actually done this before where it's like, get into a meditative state by just being like, it's going to cause you to have controlled breathing necessarily. When to use it, when you feel like all the world's problems are suddenly just your problem, right? The delusion of Neptune and Pisces is like, I don't even know what to do. It's all a nightmare. Oh my gosh, I've done too much. Where do I start? Disorganized. When anger stands between you and the formation of articulate sentences, remember, chill is a choice. Ride the cool breeze with Larimer. Slow your roll, right? So slow your roll like the scarecrow. This is like somebody who's just stopped in time, figuratively. There's a time for everything and a place for everything. You don't have to force anything. You can't force anything. You can't worry a seedling into a tree, right? You just have to kind of go with it. There's things you can add to it, and there's ways to hack it, Saturn and Aquarius. But there's ultimately, we are bound to cycles of reality, North Node and Taurus. We have to respect that. We can't just take on the world, even though we feel like we can sometimes, right? 10 of Wands is like taking on the whole world. It's like, I can do it. I've got all the fire. I've done this my whole life. I know how to do this. I'm a champion. I'm an Olympian. Oh my gosh. And it's like, you know what? Take off a few of those weights, bro, and work on your legs today. Or maybe do a meditation. Get into that King of Cups mode. Work on your third eye. Spiritual exercise is just as important as physical exercise. Never doubt that. So with the card being the King of Cups, I think we have a chance to really tap into our creative power today. Hopefully not, if you've got like 10 fires burning, consolidate them into one bonfire, right? and like he had maybe 10 cars that were in his junkyard, and he's made it a throne. So you can actually use the cycle of laziness or abundance or any of these things, because abundance can be, if you have too many potatoes, what do? You give some away, give some to your neighbors, right? They'll go rotten for you if you hold on to everything. We need to kind of just relax like the scarecrow and slow our roll with Larimer. Just take a deep breath. I need to do this. I know I'm like today because I've got a lot on my mind, and that's how it is. So I feel this myself. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do, like, subscribe, share, whatever's clever. Hit me up for readings. I love giving them. People love getting them. We got 5 stars only. You're getting the quality goods from my Mars and Cancer, Mercury and Cancer, 12th house, King of Cups energy. I can help you see the truth, man. So, Holler for readings, $33 for an hour of cards, $88 for 3 hours of astrology. Know thyself is the maxim written over the Oracle of Delphi, and I can help with that. And $111 for both astrology and cards. That's a 4 or 5 hour endeavor, FYI. Well worth it, though. I mean, think about it. It's a good gift for yourself or others. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We're at 272 now. It's been a wild ride. We're pushing along. Go to Team Rabbit Hole, www.teamrabbithole.com. I don't think the website works as well or at all if you don't do www. So www.teamrabbithole.com. And ultimately, just like these dogs, hopefully you enjoy the illusion, the Maya that we're in. Enjoy the ride in a creative, purposeful, and calm way, unlike these dogs. And cool ourselves with the Larimer. Nice, slow our roll. Take a deep breath. Take a few deep breaths. Holler if you want. Enjoy your Saturn's day. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Adios.